house is all quiet, everybody is in bed besides me, and so I thought I would get a jump start on my morning and make some iced coffee. So I am going to boil 4 cups of water, and then I'm going to add about a half a cup of ground coffee grinds into my French press. And then once that water is heated all the way through and almost boiling, I'll add that on top and then put the top on and set that aside. The next thing that I need to do is get my milk and heavy cream measured. So normally I would do 2 cups of heavy cream, but I just finished out this carton, which was just shy of 2 cups. And then I'm going to put that in a half-gallon jug. And then I'm going to add about 3 cups of milk to that. I like to use a funnel just to make sure that everything stays neat. And then I'm going to add some vanilla because we like vanilla coffee. If you don't like vanilla flavoring in yours, obviously you can leave that out. And then after my coffee has had plenty of time to steep, I will push the plunger down and add the coffee into my container. Pushing it down is my favorite part. I did go ahead and add a cup of sugar into my measuring cup here, and then add the hot coffee on top of that. That's going to dissolve that sugar and make sure that it's not grainy or gritty in your iced coffee, which I think everybody appreciates that. And then I'm going to add that just on top of the heavy cream and milk. Sometimes even using the funnel, you can make a mess. Well, I can make a mess. Once I get that all filled up, I'm going to put the lid on and give it a shake just to get everything combined. And then that's it. I'll throw it in the refrigerator and it is ready to enjoy with breakfast. Hey guys, it is morning. Last night I made some iced coffee, and this morning I need to get some breakfast going. But I had a ton of stuff I was doing in the kitchen yesterday, just making batches after batches of chicken bone broth and canning it, and that just takes a lot. It takes a lot of time, but it also just takes a lot of dishes. So I have a giant pile of dishes that I need to get to, and today's also library day. So I need to be able to kind of have a passive breakfast a little bit this morning. So I'm gonna make some spiced oatmeal muffins. I'm gonna start with a cup of rolled oats and mix that in with a cup of buttermilk, and then at the same time I am going to get a stick of butter melting on the stove, and then all of that is just gonna sit while I finish everything else up. The beauty of this recipe is that there's a lot of grace in it, and so I can get it started while I have other stuff that I am working on. So that's exactly what I'm going to do this morning. most of the stuff done in the kitchen that I needed to get done this morning. So I was able to get my last jars of chicken bone broth out of my canner and get some dishes washed, and I got my yogurt from my crock pot into a jar to get that in the refrigerator. So now my oats have sat and soaked up that buttermilk, and it is time to move on to the next stuff to get these in the oven. So I have my recipe written down right here, but the first thing that I am going to add is a cup of flour. I need my baking stuff too. So then to that I am going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. A half a teaspoon of baking soda. Should definitely measure that with a half teaspoon instead of doing half of a full teaspoon. And you're measuring it science, and so you want it to be perfect, but I didn't get out a half teaspoon, so I'm not going to do it. And then half a teaspoon of salt. And then we are going to add to that a teaspoon of cinnamon. You can add more spices to it. Cloves, nutmeg would also be really good. I just didn't grab them, so I'm not gonna add it. Okay, so I have all of my dry ingredients. I'm gonna mix those in a little bit. I'm not gonna try to crazy mix it all together right now because those oats and that buttermilk are wet. So now I'm going to add to my butter that I have melted an egg. You can also add some vanilla. I did not grab any, so I'm just not going to add any this time to my dry ingredients. I forgot the sugar. And then I need a cup and a half of brown sugar also. Sorry, I forgot I was halving this recipe. I need 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. That makes way more sense. And then I'm just gonna mix all of this together. You can, if you want, just start with the butter and the egg and the brown sugar in with the oats and then add all of the dry ingredients, or you can mix those separate. But I have found with this recipe it's pretty forgiving, so I am not going to take any extra steps that are unnecessary. Just give it a good mix. All right, it's a pretty stiff batter for a muffin batter, but it's good. So I'm going to line my muffin tins. I have 6 of the like jumbo muffin tins. I have the jumbo muffin tin, but if you have just a regular muffin tin, which I also have, I just like using these for breakfast. If you have those, then it would make 12. And then I'm gonna use a ice cream scoop. It's just the easiest way to portion out my muffin batter for me. I'm just gonna scoop it into my muffin papers. I love a good muffin for breakfast. This is kind of a go-to for me for when I am just trying to get a lot done in the kitchen in the morning, which happens if I have a big kitchen day and I end up, going to bed with dirty dishes, which I don't like doing, but sometimes it just happens, right? So if that is the case, then a lot of times the next morning I'll get up and do muffins because it's not something that I have to like stand over the stove to turn like French toast or pancakes or whatever. And so just having a few really good go-to muffin recipes are really handy. I also really like to make chocolate chip muffins. That's always a favorite, which I have done a video for, and I will link down below if you guys want to see that. Okay, now that I have all of my muffins in, this last step is kind of optional, I guess, but it is my kid's favorite step. So I'm just gonna take some brown sugar and just, I have a big clump in there, and just sprinkle it on top. And that is going to caramelize and get crispy and is just everybody's favorite part of the muffin. Okay, so I'm gonna bake these at 400 for about 20 minutes, and then breakfast will be done. Our muffins are done. I am just gonna let them cool, and then it is going to be time to eat them, probably on the road on the way to the library. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.